You guys fit nuts?
Oh, they are, it's listed in that.
That's okay. Yeah, 6:30, right? 15 seconds.
Sorry.
Time being 6:30, I call a council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Presentation, Salvation Army Mayor Red County Challenge. Tiffany? Salvation Army.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Jackson, and I serve as the Collin County and Denton County Major Gifts Manager of the Salvation Army of North Texas. I'm here today to say thank you to you, Mayor Carrington, for your leadership and for helping to support our Red Cattle Challenge, and to the community leaders as well. Thank you so much for your support. Your leadership inspired 3 additional mayors. So we had Mayor TJ Gilmore, as well as Mayor Cheryl Moore and Mayor Charlotte Wilcox joining the team of Louisville. So we are pleased to present this award to you on behalf of the Salvation Army. So not only did the city of Bartonville participate in our Red Kettle Challenge, but you won for the Louisville area. So you raised $2,314.62. And that amount includes the Red Kettle money that was directly placed in the kettle, which was $1,280.31. So in total for the Louisville area, you raised $6,451.10 for Denton County, so just the Louisville area. All money raised stays in this area to support our families. So we want to just say thank you so much. We hope that you will join us this year in 2026. And as we continue to raise money for Denton County, specifically in the Louisville area, Bartonville area, and Flower Mound area. So, want to present first the certificate of appreciation.
Thank you. Good job.
And then we have a beautiful acrylic award saying 2025 Red Kettle Champion, Mayor Jacqueline Carrington, City of Bartonville, Louisville Corps, as you support the Louisville Corps. Give with joy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. You're in there, chief, I'll catch you up.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Just something you just can't have.
Yes, no. Your skills are getting a little better. That's another hat on there.
Talk about it.
Yeah, you get paid extra. Yeah, I do, that's well. You guys took care of it here.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany, appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Number two, issue certificates of election, statement of elected official provide the oath of office to newly elected officers.
There, we'll join you at the podium. I'll do your statement of elected officer first. If you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Jacqueline Carrington,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I have not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly paid,
or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay,
offered, promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office,
or employment for the giving
or employment for the giving,
or withholding of a vote
or withholding of a vote
at the election of which
at the election of which
I was elected,
I was elected,
or as a reward to secure
or as a reward to secure
my appointment or confirmation,
my appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be,
whichever the case may be,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, so I'll go on to do your oath.
Okay.
Would you raise your hand again? I state your name,
I, Jacqueline Carrington,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of mayor
of mayor
for the town of Bartonville, Texas,
for the town of Bartonville, Texas,
and will do the best of my ability
and will do the best of my ability
preserve,
to preserve,
to protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
of the state,
and the ordinances of the town of Bartonville,
and the ordinances of the town of Bartonville,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to get a picture with us?
Love to. Yeah, I'll get you this way. Sorry, chief. Here you go. Perfect. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Councilmember Chapman. Next.
Okay.
Right hand. I state your name.
I, Matthew Chapman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I have not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly paid,
or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay,
offered, promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office,
or employment for the giving,
or employment for the giving,
or withholding of a vote
or withholding of a vote
at the election at the election at which
at the election at which
I was elected,
I was elected,
or as a reward to secure
or as a reward to secure
my appointment
my appointment
or confirmation, whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. That's a tough one.
It is. It is. Okay, oath of office. I state your name.
I, Chapman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of council member place 2
of Councilman Place 2,
for the town of Bartonville, Texas,
down in Bartonville, Texas.
and will to the best of my ability
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the law of the United States
and of this state
and of this state
and of the ordinances of the town of Bartonville.
and the ordinances of the town of Bartonville.
So help me God.
So help us God. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you.
You're something.
I state your name.
I, Keith Crandall,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I've not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly paid,
or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay,
offered, promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment for the giving
or employment for the giving
or withholding of a vote
or the withholding of a vote
at the election at which
at the election of which
I was elected,
I was elected,
or as a reward to secure
or as a reward to secure
my appointment
my appointment
or confirmation,
or confirmation,
whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God.
That is a lot. Thank you. Okay, the oath of office. I state your name,
I, Keith Crandall,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully
the
execute
duties of office,
the duties of office
council member, place 4
of council member, place 4
for the town of Bartonville, Texas,
for the town of Bartonville, Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of the state
and of this state
and the ordinance of the town of Bartonville.
and the ordinances of the town of Bartonville.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
One more. Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public participation. If you'd like to speak to the council, please fill out a form and hand it to Shannon. Please indicate on the form if you wish to speak during a discussion on a specific agenda item. Please remember, council members are not allowed to answer questions during public participation. Please state your name and address for the record. Do we have anybody?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Appointed representative liaison report, number 1, Denton County Emergency Service, Chief Bond.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Rick Vaughn, Party. April was a busy month, in many ways, not only just the call volume being our busiest, month ever for, April. But we had a lot of other activity. We started the month on April 2nd doing a statewide alert. So it was kind of a short notice deal and not all entities participated. We did participate. The state wanted to kind of do a test, just kind of send out a lot of Everbridge notifications. We sent out over 15,000 alerts. Got some good feedback from it. If you didn't get that and you would like to, get in our Everbridge system, you can go to our website, we have information there, but it was a good test. The first time the state ever did it, I think that we just want to do some lessons learned, do something statewide like that. So I think it was a success. I think there were some lessons learned. Other activities we had our budget kickoff. It was a big thing. We, just like y'all getting ready to go over budget season and stuff, so we are too, so we're in the middle of that. We also had our biannual, community advisory stakeholder meeting, so mayor, police chief, town administrator were there. Appreciate you guys being there. I always enjoy hearing feedback from all of our stakeholders. We have a round table up there, we just kind of talk about everything that's going on in our community, so you get to learn fellowship and of course you get free lunch too, so not too bad there. The other big important news, obviously, I think I mentioned this last time, is on the 16th of April, we also, all of our fire station modules for the fire station North Lake has arrived. It's progressing well. I think we're shooting for it to be operational by the end of June, so hopefully we'll keep that. We did get a couple of rainy days and some bad weather, so it kind of slowed me down a little bit. But for the most part, it seems like it's on track. So a lot of good things happened, a lot of activities in April, but we're looking forward, and we're already into May. So for May, we really like to honor this month being, we got Memorial Day coming up. And so, especially for the fact that we're coming up on 250 years of, of freedom and, the cost that requires, we want to, pay tribute to that. So I know y'all doing Spirit Day this weekend. We also have our signature event. We'll be doing our open house where we open up Fire Station 511 there on Gibbons Road and 407 for all the community to come in. We have free hamburgers and hot dogs and activities for the kids and a lot of good things. But we start out with a memorial walk. We're doing a little bit different this time. We're starting from the station, going down to Marty B's, which is about the halfway point, we'll be heading back. So looking forward, that's from 8 to 10, and then we'll have the open house and all the activities from 10 to noon, depending on when y'all spirit days in. I may stop by after that too. That's what I was trying to come to as well. So a lot of good things. And also we have our second, biennial, I guess, blood drive. We'll do that on May 23rd, Saturday. So that'll be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you can, stop by the station 511. We have a blood drive there, so feel free to participate in that. So anyway, a lot of good things going on. With that, I'll be brief and answer any questions.
Any questions?
So,
Thank you, Chief, appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
we gave out a hard copy of our annual report. We got a few left. Anybody wants one, let me know.
Good job, that's a very good, very informative.
Thank you.
Police Department, April 2026 statistics activities, Chief Ashburn.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Happy National Police Week.
Yes.
Wanted to let you know that. Well, calls were up this month. We're up at 151 for the month. No rhyme or reason, some others. I'll get into a little bit of that here shortly. We had 12 accidents. 10 of those was on 407, and all of them were not major accidents. Some were mostly minor, but the major one was at a hilltop in 407. There was one there. So we had 6 agency assists, 19 alarm, commercial alarms, 6 residential alarms, 3 animal complaints, 7 disturbances, 1 domestic disturbance, 16 meat complainant, 11 ordinance violations, 4 reckless drivers, 15 suspicious persons, vehicle activity, 3 theft, and 12 accidents, as I mentioned before. On our uniform crime reporting, we had 3 larceny, so that's 3 part 1 crimes. On officer initiated activity, we had 174 building checks, coast patrols, traffic complaints, radar enforcement 26. You had 216 traffic stops. That number is lower than the last 3 months, but that's due to Officer Mazzone and Lieutenant Scudder doing inventory and destruction of our property room. That has to be done for our accreditation. And it took them about 3 weeks, because when you're dealing with property, you gotta research every case and make sure you can clear it before you destroy it. Because you don't want to get rid of evidence and it comes up for court and we don't have it. So it doesn't look good. So that's why that number's down. We had 10 walkthrough business contacts, so it's a total of 426 officer activity by type. On part 1 crime activity, we have 3 part 1 offensive as I stated, and all theft related. 1 incident at Kroger, 1 credit card theft, and 1 stolen license plate. Call volume trends, overall calls for service increased with numerous commercial alarm activations triggered by the severe weather. So we answered a lot more alarms due to that. On the crash response again, 12 motor vehicle crashes investigated, 10 on FM 407, 1 on Jeter Road and 1 on Noble Champions. Again, property room audit was completed and purged, and we're good to go on that. They've instituted a barcode system. Now they can go in there and pick out items and just barcode it. They'll see if we have it there. It's great for our accreditation, so we have to have that. And speaking of accreditation, we formally are submitting the Texas Police Chiefs Association accreditation application. This process is expected to be complete by the end of the year and putting our department among roughly 220 accredited agencies statewide. Being such a small agency, that's a big accomplishment. So we're on the right track there. That's all I have. I have any questions for me? No.
Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Number 3, administration, Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor.
The report starts in your packet on page 20, if you wanted to follow along. Just wanted to overview, we are in month April, which is month 7 of our fiscal year. This is not a slide in your packet, I can't put it in the packet since it's today's information. I wanted to give you the bank balances for reserve, which is $854,877. So we're moving towards our goal. General fund bank balance is $5,133,357. And that encompasses our streets, general fund, PD, everything other than CCPD, reserves and BCs.
What page are you on, Shannon?
That one's not in our packet,
Okay.
but we'll go to page 21. I tried to show you, but we didn't have technical difficulties. So the reserve revenue, we have received an interest earned for the month of April, $2,704. Bringing our year-to-date revenue for the reserve bank account, $17,519. Based on the last couple of months of bringing in an average around $2,200-$2,500, we should surpass our current budget of $19,000 next month, since we only have a remaining budget of $1,481. So the contribution that council put last year in there, bringing up the balance, is really helping us with our interest. Moving on to the next page, which is all general fund revenues. Property tax for the month of April, we brought in $11,243, which is quite well since we're after the high peak of property taxes being paid. And that brought our year-to-date revenue $1,324,391. So we are actually surpassed our budget so far of $1.2 million by $124,391. So we're very healthy in that line item. The next row, which is sales tax, we earned $52,311, which brought our year-to-date revenue to $593,249. So we're pretty close to our goal. We should be able to match our goal, and our current budget was $890,000 for sales tax. And then if you look at your last row of that screen, which is total revenue, we brought in $147,856 in the month of April, which brought our year-to-date revenue to $2,411,907. For month 7, we wanted to have collected at least 58.1% of our budget. And as you see in the column for percent of budget remaining, we have 14.61. So we only have 14% left to collect for the budget. So we have really surpassed our budget for revenues right now. And of course, property taxes are our main revenue source. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? Okay, the next slide is our sales tax collection, which are a monthly average. As I mentioned on a previous slide, we received $52,311 in April, which is reflecting of the February 2026 sales taxes. We were 2 months in arrears to get our money. And that amount brought our 12-month collected average to $86,619, which is an increase of over $189 over last month. So our scales go a little up. You may have any questions on sales tax. Okay. Moving to the next slide, which is all general fund expenditures. If you look at the bottom row, the total expenses. For April, over the administration, police, court, and transfers, we have expensed $238,793, bringing our year-to-date expenses to $1,411,298. As I mentioned in the previous slide, at the end of month 7, we want to have at least 41.9% of our budget remaining for the remainder of the year. And we have 45.12, if you can see in your percent of budget remaining column. So this is leaving us in good standing. We're still a little over overall with all of our departments. Any questions on this slide? And the next one specifically looking at the expenses of administration. Bottom row again, total administration, we expensed $152,498, bringing our year-to-date expenditures to $730,001. And if you look at the percent of the budget remaining, we are above our benchmark of 41.9% at 46.78%. So administration is also looking really well. Any questions before we go to the police department? Okay, your last slide is the police department, bottom row again. Police expensed $81,835 in the month of April, bringing their total expenditures year to date to $571,982. And at the end of month 7, we wanted to have the 41.9, and we are a little below that at 38.02%. But as previous meetings, and we've talked about this, PD has paid out their dispatch, their radios, and their insurance for the year. We paid it out earlier than we did last year. So we're still in good standing since those bills have been paid. Does anybody have any questions on what I'm on?
Looking pretty good. Will be.
Thank you, Mayor Council.
Thank you, Shannon, appreciate it. Consent agenda. This agenda consists of non-controversial housekeeping items required by law that may be approved with a single motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by any council member by making such a request prior to motion and vote on the consent agenda. Number 1, consider approval of the April 21st, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Number 2, consider ordinance amending the removal procedures for members of the town boards, commissions, and committees by creating section 1.04.004 and amending section 1.04.032 of the town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances. Number 3, discuss and consider resolution appointing municipal court judge, alternate municipal court judges, municipal court clerk, and deputy clerks. Number 4, ratify approval of the planning services agreement for on-call planning services between the town of Bartonville and Karen Consulting LLC beginning April 24th, 2026 through September 30th, 2026, and authorize the town administrator to execute the same on behalf of the town. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Consent on June 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Councilor. Public hearings and regular items. Valerie Robertson with MWH Group will present and address questions regarding presentation consideration of fiscal year 2023-2024 audit and presentation and consideration of fiscal year 2024-25 audit. She's going to present both of these together, and then we will make motions to accept them separate. So.
Okay,
Thank you.
good evening. Thank you, Mayor Council, for having me here tonight. I'm here to go over both the 24 and 25 audit, and the most exciting part about this evening is that these represent, we're now caught up on audits. And these were actually completed and submitted to the town secretary by March 28th, I believe is the actual deadline. So these were submitted on time to be in compliance with the new law regarding timely audits that the state passed last summer. So you have, before you vote 24 and 25, if there are any questions on 24, I'd be happy to answer those. Or if you have any desire to dig into that report, I will, or I will just kind of walk through the 25 report. If that is okay with you. But both audits went well. Both audits represent the city in great financial health. And we really appreciate all the efforts of Shannon and Kirk and Debbie Piper, the consultant, to get these together. And we're mostly excited to be caught up again. So I'm going to focus on the 2025 report, which I believe was the top one. On that cover page, the third line down says for the year ended September 30, 2025. That's when you want to be looking at. So I will start with number page 1. That's our independent auditor's report. It says that we believe the financial statements are fairly presented, which is we call an unmodified report. And I like to say is as nice as we get as auditors. That's what you have both in this report and the 24 report, and really what you would expect. The next section, starting on page 5, is management discussion and analysis. This provides kind of a conversational discussion of the financial results of the year, but it also provides some comparative numbers. So I'm going to point out page 7 has the city's net position. So this is your total assets, total liabilities, and then the difference between the two is your total net position. The city's total assets were 10.7 million, up about $1 million from 2024. And this is at the end of 9/30/2025. Total liabilities are 600,000, down from about 933,000 in 2024. And so your city's net position, the difference between your assets and your liabilities, is 10.16 million, up from about 8.9 million at the end of 2024. So pretty good jump in that. Of that 10 million, 4.7 million, a little less than half is unrestricted, meaning it's available for future use. So that's a really healthy unrestricted net position. I will point out that the long-term liabilities, were fairly new in 24. That is a finance, a bank loan for a couple of Chevrolet Tahoes. And then there's what we call a SPIDA, which is a subscription-based IT arrangement. And it's an agreement, a 5-year payout for flock cameras. So it's actually just a payout that we now have to put on the balance sheet. So there's an asset and offsetting liability for that long-term lease, for those IT agreements. Page 8. I'll focus on that top schedule, which is your revenues, expenses, and that increase in that position. In 2025, total revenues were 4,073,000. Last year, 2024 was 3.8 million, so about 200,000. Total expenses were 2.8 million, versus over 3 million in 2024, resulting in an increase in your net position of 1.2 million. So your revenues exceeded your expenses by 1.2 million in 2025. And those are kind of the highlights that I like to point out in this section. And then the next section goes into your basic financial statements. Page 11 is your government-wide statement of net position. So this is the expanded version of the very summarized assets liability statement that I went over at the beginning. So this is just kind of an expanded version of that. Page 12 is your expenses, revenues, and that increase in net position that we already went over. The format is a little bit different. And then page 13 goes into your governmental funds. So this is something that's kind of unique in governmental reporting, in that the first 2 statements are your government-wide statements that include all of your assets and liabilities. And then we go into the fund statements that are only current assets and current liabilities. So there's no fixed assets in here, there's no long-term debt. And we also have it split out by these different funds. So we like to focus here on the general fund. And kind of the main number I like to point out here is your unassigned fund balance in your general fund, which is that first column, the third line from the bottom, 2.8 million. What we're looking for is that to be like 3 to 6 months of expenditures. And it's well above that. So it's a very healthy unassigned fund balance and what you'd like to see. 14 just shows the reconciliation between the 2 statements. 15 is your revenues, change expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the governmental funds, again, on more like that cash basis. And then page 16 is the reconciliation between the 2. Does anybody want to go over any of those in more detail? I'll be happy to. I know I go through them quickly.
Next time we do this, is it possible for us to get this book ahead of time, and so that we have time to just kind of look over it?
Absolutely.
Then we might have some.
Sure.
Because there's a lot to just give it a glance at. I mean, for me it is. I don't know what it is. That would be great.
Do you do interim statements as well, or is it just the?
We typically only do annual statements.
I was just curious how we're tracking for this year. We probably have our budget.
So yeah, your budget would be pretty comparable to your fund statements. What you won't have are like the fixed assets and long-term debt and things. Those will be more of an analysis.
That's all good.
Page 17 starts your notes to the financial statement. So this just provides additional details and information about your accounting policies. There were no new accounting policies this year. I will just point out page 24 is your capital assets. So that just shows the fixed asset activity during the year. There's about $1 million invested in city fixed assets. About $825,000 was infrastructure for streets. Then page 25 shows your long-term liability activity. So again, those 2 debts that I talked about were issued in 24. So those are just paid down during the year, just a couple of years on those. And then the last schedule I like to point out is on page 29. And this shows the city's pension. So the city participates with TMRS for the employees' pension. And we are required to report the net pension liability at the end of December when it's measured. So this schedule shows how that's calculated, the bottom of page 29. Column A is the city's total pension liability, so that's the actuarial estimate for what the city is going to pay out for pension in the future. Column B is the plan's fiduciary net position, which is the assets that are held at TMRS that are gonna be used to pay down that liability. And then the net pension liability is the difference between the two, which is showing a negative $2,343. So your assets are a little higher than your liabilities for your pension, so that's a very good position to be in, so it's almost break even, a little bit positive. And those are really the highlights of the notes of the financial statements.
Excuse me, is that pension liability, is that just liability for the next 10 years? Is that just liability in general?
So the liability is calculated by TMRS actuaries, and it is based on all of the retirees, current retired that are in the plan, so it should be. It's their best estimate for what's
For everybody that's in.
for the complete,
Okay,
for Bartonville's share,
Okay.
yes,
It's their snapshot as of this date,
that's right.
so.
thank you.
Looking at on page 25, at that first portion of long-term debt. 95,000 a year, is it safe to think that we should burn down that 243 in 2.5 years or so? Or is it scheduled out longer?
No, yes, sir, that's, so, you'll see about halfway down, there are 2 more payments for the finance contract, those are the Tahoes, those will be paid out in 27.
Okay.
And then on the next page, page 26, shows the payouts on that, lease agreement, and then that's paid out in 28, so it's exactly paid out by 28. Okay, so, past the notes are the required supplementary information. Page 35 shows the city's, budgetary comparison schedule for the general fund. Positive variances in both, resources and expenditures, so overall, the end of the budget year, ended up much, about $700,000 over what was anticipated in the budget. And then past that goes into just some additional required schedules related to the pension. And then there are the budget to actual schedules for the other minor funds. And then the final section is on internal control and compliance. So we perform the audit in accordance with government auditing standards. So we are required to report to you any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that we identify throughout the audit. Happy to report that we did not have any such deficiencies to note, so that is what this final section says on page 43. So we did not identify any weaknesses that we were required to report to you. And those were the highlights that I had planned to point out, but I'm very happy to answer any questions or go over any schedules and any more detail that you would like.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shannon. This is a lot.
You have a motion to accept. Go ahead.
It's nice to look at. Yes.
You have a motion to accept fiscal year 2023, 2024 audit.
I'll make a motion to accept the audit for fiscal year 2023-2024. Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, council. Do I have a motion to accept fiscal year 2024, 2025 audit?
I'll make a motion to accept the 2024-25.
Sir.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, council. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. And number 3, discuss and consider fiscal year 2020, 2027, the budget calendar, staff presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. And in front of you, you have a copy of the calendars for reference. The fiscal year 2026-2027 budget process will begin next council meeting. And it will be with your discussion of the council priorities and goals, just like we've done in the past. This proposed budget calendar aligns with regular council meetings and meets all tax code deadlines. A special meeting is proposed for September 1st, 2026, and the September 15th, 2026 meeting is designated for tax rate ratification. because attendance requirements call for a supermajority of council members plus the mayor. Staff recommends starting budget workshops at 6 p.m. on July 21st, August 18th, September 1st, and September 15th to allow enough time for discussion before regular meetings. Staff asks the council review the calendar and confirm that a supermajority will be present on September 1st and 15th. If these dates work for all of council, there will be no action will be needed tonight.
Or as I know, I will be here.
Only we know that you're looking at 4 months into advance, but obviously if you're free right now, we can definitely look for it, as you guys are very well, and we appreciate all the advance notice that you give us, and we can't make a meeting, so.
So July, August, and September are early, 6 o'clock, right? Those are the 3 early.
And then of course, we'll play by that by year, once we go through some of the workshops, if we don't need a workshop, we won't.
No conflict in July.
I'm conflict in July. I won't be in the state.
We don't need a 2/3 for those meetings, right?
Not for July.
We just need a simple.
I think July 21st, I think I'm away too.
Nobody else can be away. We can have a meeting with Furry in July.
3 councilmen.
Yes, sorry, Furry.
We need 4 for
The meetings in Saturday. And both meetings, because one's a special meeting that you need to have your 4 council members plus mayor. And then the 15th, anything that does deal with the tax rate, we need to have supervision.
So I think we're good for September, but if I heard that right, you're out in July, I'm out in July, and you're out in July.
So that's not yet.
July's good. At least as it stands today on the 21st.
You need to move that meeting.
Yes, because we want to have 2 council members in there.
So what about the week before?
The week before is the week of the 13th. We have no other meetings scheduled, so any day is available for meeting.
Are y'all available on the 14th?
I am.
Yes.
As of right now, yeah.
Let's move it to the 14th, that's okay.
So July will be moved to the 14th. I will update the calendar and send it out to you guys.
These days, are they on all the same day of the week?
Tuesday, yes, the ones that are in the calendar or your regular meeting days.
So
Except for the September 1st, which is still a Tuesday, but that's not normal. It's the day. It's the week before Memorial Day. Memorial falls the week after.
Labor Day.
I'm sorry, yes, Labor Day, thank you.
Margie, you're here on the 14th too, right? July 14th?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gone or you're here?
I'm gone the whole month.
But everybody else is here. Okay. Good. We okay on that? Everything?
And right now, everybody looks good for September.
Yes.
Closed session pursuant to open meeting act chapter 551, the town council will recess into closed executive session in accordance with the Texas Government Code within the following. Number 1, section 551.074, personal matters to deliberate, consider appointment and employment of public officers or employee to wit Mayor Pro Tem, time being 7:13, with the meeting in closed session.
Okay, so that's the question. Where's the last people you go on?
I have that problem.
Time being 7:16, we're convened into open session. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve Margie as your pro tem. Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any future agenda items? No. Time being 17. Thank you.
A lot of stuff.